Welcome to the world of Heroes Evolved, where every hero has a unique role to play. In this enchanting universe, we find ourselves in the company of various champions, each possessing unique abilities. But today, we're focusing on one extraordinary heroine, the Ranger Pusher Disabler hero, Jeanne. Jeanne is not your ordinary hero. She is a divine entity, carrying heavenly powers that she uses to control the battlefield and provide support to her team in ways you couldn't possibly imagine. She brings to the table a set of unique skills that shape the course of every battle she graces. Her prowess is phenomenal, and her mastery of the battlefield unparalleled. Her first ability, Sacred Ground, is more than just an attack. It's a strategic move that can turn the tides of a skirmish in an instant. This ability allows Jeanne to conjure a holy area, a sanctuary on the battlefield. This sacred space slows down enemies, hindering their movements and throwing them off. At the same time, it grants substantial bonuses to her allies, enhancing their combat efficiency, making it a tool of both offense and defense. Next is Retribution, Jeanne's second ability. With this, she brings down a shining divine light her adversaries, causing significant, often fatal damage. The intensity of this light is so severe that it can alter the momentum of the war, leaving foes crippled and allies empowered. Let's not forget about Jeanne's passive ability, Blessed Aura. This spell provides her allies with bonus armor and health regeneration, fortifying their defenses and increasing their longevity in battle. This ability makes Jeanne a beacon of hope and a pillar of strength for her companions. Lastly, we have Jeanne's ultimate ability, Blazing Seraphim. This power calls forth a celestial seraphim from the heavens to her in combat. This heavenly entity is immune to magic and has the formidable power to stun enemies, making every clash an almost certain victory for Jeanne. Now that you're familiar with Jeanne and her abilities, let's explore how to use them effectively in the game. Jeanne's abilities are not just for show, they are strategic tools that can turn the tide of the battle. The first ability at Jeanne's is Sacred Ground. This skill empowers Jeanne to call upon a sacred ground to a designated area for a duration of 5 seconds, acting as a strategic hindrance to enemy units and augmenting the impact of the Retribution ability. Apart from this, Sacred Ground contributes to enhanced health regeneration for allied heroes within its vicinity. This ability is much like a guiding beacon, allowing your team to better position and maneuver themselves during an intense brawl, making it challenging for the foe to engage or retreat. Next in line, we have Retribution. This skill sets the battlefield ablaze by striking the target area 4 consecutive times with divine light, inflicting magical damage to enemy units. When harmonized with Sacred Ground, Retribution has the power to turn the tables in your favor, altering a losing battle into a triumphant victory. The trick here lies in the correct timing and appropriate placement of these abilities. Jeanne's third ability, Blessed Aura, is a passive skill that works silently yet effectively, offering allied units within a 1500 radius bonus armor and health regeneration. The bonuses offered by this ability are doubly beneficial for Jeanne herself. This passive skill plays a pivotal role in retaining your team's stamina during battles and transforms Jeanne into an intimidating frontline warrior during team confrontations. Finally, we have the Blazing Seraphim, the ultimate ability that defines Jeanne. This ability allows Jeanne to summon a seraphim from the azure heavens to a designated area, dealing magical damage to enemy units within a 600 radius and causing a stun for 1 fleeting second. The seraphim is an unwavering companion to Jeanne, attacking her target enemy units relentlessly. It is impervious to magical damage, and its attacks possess the potential to deal bonus physical damage and cause a mini stun. This powerful ability can be a turning point in team fights, lending both offensive and defensive benefits. Each of Jeanne's abilities has its own unique strengths and weaknesses. Understanding them is not just about knowing their effects, but also about recognizing their potential impact on the battlefield. It's about reading the situation, predicting the enemy's moves, and using the right ability at the right time. This strategic understanding and usage can be the deciding factor between victory and defeat. Remember, mastering a hero is not just about executing abilities, but about executing them wisely. So, be fearless in experimenting with different strategies and discovering the approach that suits you best. Remember, understanding Jeanne's abilities is the first step in mastering this hero. Now let's delve deeper into the strategic gameplay with Jeanne. Jeanne, as a ranger pusher disabler, brings a unique flavor to the battlefield. Her abilities are not just about dealing damage, but also about controlling the battlefield, supporting allies, and disrupting enemy strategies. Consider her ability, Sacred Ground. This is a powerful tool for area control. By summoning a sacred ground to a target area, Jeanne can slow enemy units, bolster her own attacks, and even provide health regeneration for allied heroes. It's a versatile ability that can turn the tide of a skirmish. Use it to discourage enemies from entering a particular area, or to give your allies an edge in an ongoing fight. Then there's Retribution, a direct damage-dealing ability. It strikes the target area 4 times with divine light, causing magical damage to enemy units. This is your bread and butter for dishing out damage, but remember, its potency increases when used in combination with Sacred Ground. Now let's talk about Blessed Aura, her passive ability. This ability grants bonus armor and health regeneration to allied units within a certain radius. These bonuses are doubled for Jeanne herself. This is what makes Jeanne a valuable asset in team fights. With Blessed Aura, she can bolster the survivability of her team while making herself more durable. And finally, we have her ultimate ability, Blazing Seraphim. This ability summons a seraphim from the heavens to a target area, causing damage and stunning enemy units. The seraphim then follows Jeanne and attacks her target enemy units. Use this ability strategically in team fights. The stun effect can disrupt enemy formations and turn the tide of the battle in your favor. But remember, Jeanne is more than the sum of her abilities. She's a strategic hero that requires a good understanding of the game's mechanics and a keen sense of timing. Knowing when to use each ability is just as important as knowing what each ability does. The key to mastering Jeanne is understanding the synergy between her abilities and strategically using them in the heat of the battle. Now that we've covered the basics, here are some tips and tricks to elevate your gameplay with Jeanne. Firstly, positioning is key. Given her range, Jeanne can effectively control the battle from a distance. Use her Sacred Ground ability to slow enemies and boost your retribution damage, all while keeping yourself safe from harm. It's all about exploiting the battlefield to your advantage. Timing is another crucial element. Jeanne's abilities have relatively short cooldowns, but using them recklessly will leave you vulnerable and your mana depleted. Wait for the right moment to strike. Use Retribution to deal damage when enemies are clustered together, and save Sacred Ground for when your team needs a health boost, or when you're about to unleash Retribution for that extra punch. Next, let's talk about ability combos. One of Jeanne's most potent combinations is using Sacred Ground, and then immediately following it up with Retribution. This combo not only slows down your enemies, but also amplifies the damage of Retribution. Another great combo is using Blazing Seraphim and Sacred Ground together. The stun from Blazing Seraphim can keep enemies trapped within Sacred Ground, maximizing its effects. Jeanne's passive ability, Blessed Aura, should not be overlooked. It provides bonus armor and health regen to allies within its radius. Make sure to position yourself so as many allies as possible can benefit from it. Remember, these bonuses are doubled for Jeanne, making her a formidable force on the battlefield. Lastly, Jeanne excels in disabling enemies. Her Sacred Ground slows enemies down, while Blazing Seraphim stuns them. Use these abilities to control the flow of the battle, making it harder for enemies to escape or chase after your allies. Remember, practice makes perfect. The more you play Jeanne, the better you'll get at using her abilities strategically. After all, mastering Jeanne is not just about understanding her abilities, but knowing when and how to use them for maximum effect. So go out there and let Jeanne lead your team to victory. Now that you're equipped with the knowledge and strategies, it's time for you to take Jeanne to the battlefield. Remember, mastering a hero is not just about knowing their abilities or executing a pre-planned strategy. It's about adapting, evolving, and improvising based on the situation at hand and the opponents you face. It's about finding your unique rhythm with Jeanne and making the most of her abilities in your own way. Don't be afraid to experiment and mix things up. Try out the strategies we've discussed, but also come up with your own. Maybe you'll find a powerful combo that we've missed, or a new approach to team fights that suits your style better. Remember, every game is a chance to learn and improve, and every challenge is an opportunity to showcase your skills and creativity. So, go ahead, try out Jeanne in your next game of Heroes Evolved. Share your experiences and strategies in the comments below. We look forward to hearing about your epic victories and learning experiences.